In November every year, the national budget usually takes center stage, but not this year. This week, the budget came 2 days before the start of the biggest APEC meetings. People were interested in the budget for a day, and then it faded into the background. Then boom. Enter China-US geopolitics. Last night, President Xi Jinping, the most influential world leader in the Asia-Pacific, arrived in Port Moresby with the largest delegation of officials. They came on 2 large planes. The festivities for the Chinese delegation demonstrated just how important China's money is to the PNG government.
China is a global leader, has got responsibilities in that respect to make sure that some of the issues and challenges that the global community face in terms of issues like climate change and resource management and fishing and illegal fishing within the Pacific. Those are really important issues to small Pacific Island nations.
This coming gives us an indication that the people of China are confident of this country.
Over the next 3 days, the world's politics will play out on Papua New Guinea soil. It already is, by the way. From Singapore, US Vice President Mike Pence indicated that he would be revealing just how dangerous the Chinese One Belt, One Road initiative is to Pacific Island states and the rest of the world. This announcement comes on the back of US funding of $60 billion. That's about 200 billion kina, aimed at the Asia-Pacific region. Also note that China has allocated the same amount to African countries for various projects, including infrastructure. Australia has announced its own funding initiatives for the Pacific, the equivalent of 7 billion kina.
These APEC meetings, we want to demonstrate our ongoing strong support for further regional economic integration. Our focus here today, some of which you will have heard in Minister Birmingham's intervention this morning, is about implementing practical capacity building initiatives, for example across structural reform, trade facilitation, digital trade and women's economic empowerment.
Well, it's PNG's foreign policy that we are friends of all, enemies of none, and we welcome all the partnerships. We foster all the partnerships that we can find.
In the foreign ministers' meeting, the US-China tension is already being felt as the US and China tussle over free trade and other issues. On the ground in Port Moresby, a strong presence from the US and Australian military. From China, a strong trade presence and a message of building relationships on the ground. From the outset, China appears to have all its moves planned out and is ticking off each of them on its list of things to do. And it's about resources and territorial influence.
So it's a very strategically timed state visit. The fact that we see the China flag everywhere around town, I think that's really sends strong signals to not just the Pacific, but also all of the delegates here that China is really on the front foot. And the fact that Mike Pence is the Vice President is only flying in and flying out, is not staying in PNG, that sends the wrong signal. The fact that Trump isn't even here, that just plays into the anxiety that people in Australia and the Pacific elsewhere have that the US is retreating from this part of the world.
At least for the government, the attention from world leaders is important. Maybe APEC is an opportunity, maybe it's a double-edged sword, with opportunity on the one side and debt on the other. What stands out is China's willingness to engage. President Xi Jinping is here for 4 days. President Trump is absent, President Putin is absent. Both sent their number 2s. Scott Waide, National EMTV News.